All right, here we go. Hey, welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm gonna push it there. I gotta be live. Pop. There we go. Okay. So we are talking about solving multi-step equations. Hey, gentlemen, thank you. I'm doing this now. Talk about solving multi-step equations with the distributive property. So that means that we're going to say have multiple steps that include the distributive property. Thank you. So don't forget our rules that we need, right? Let's sing them together. Ready? Same sign, add. Different sign, subtract. Keep the sign of the bigger ones that you can be exact. What? Good. We got to make sure that we remember our adding rules. Then we also have to remember our multiplication rules. Same sign, positive. Different sign, negative. Right? We got to remember those rules. All right. And then lastly, we need to remember our goals. Talk about Elsa. Our goal is to. Good. And how are we going to do that?
Use inverse operation.
Yeah, use inverse operation. That's what we got to do. Now, there are four key steps when we're doing these. Two of them you already know. The first two are new. So when you see a multi-step equation, and you'll know what that is when we get there, the first thing we need to do is we need to distribute first. All right? We need to distribute first. There's another way to do some of these questions where we don't distribute first. I'm only going to show you that once. And it's only for the people that will click it right away. If it doesn't click right away, I want you sticking with this, okay? We're going to distribute first. After we've distributed, you're probably going to have to combine like terms. Because it's going to be a multi-step question, right? So there will be multiple steps to do. Not just one or two. There will be a variety of steps. Sometimes it will be 3, sometimes it will be 5. But the reality is, we have to distribute and then combine like terms. Now, the new idea number 2, if you need to put like an if needed, combine like terms, if needed, do that. Because sometimes you won't have to combine like terms because there won't be any. Many times there will, but sometimes there won't. Okay, so just be aware of that. And I bet we know what the last 2 will be. After we've combined our like terms, we should undo what? Addition and subtraction. Follow that up with undoing multiplication and division. The same process as we've done before. Really all we're doing is we're following the order of operations in reverse. Okay? Following the order of operations in reverse. So let's go ahead and just do one. Okay? Notice I've got the steps up at the top if you are still writing them down. Yes, ma'am.
So, when did you have to, when you do addition, you usually do addition and subtraction first because that's the last step you did. You're just doing everything first.
True, and that's because there isn't any addition and subtraction to be done yet, is there? You see, can I move the addition over? No, why? Because it's in parentheses, and parentheses are the last thing we need to do. So with order of operations, we actually need to get rid of those parentheses so that we can do the steps of getting over. Now, Ashley mentions, shouldn't we do the order of operations in reverse? This is the one time I'm going to talk you through the other way, without distributing. Ashley's right. The order of operations tells us that we need to do addition or subtraction first. There isn't any that I can do because it's inside the parentheses. So now I need to undo multiplication or division. Is there multiplication that I can do? Yes. So I can divide both sides by 4. And what am I left with? M plus 3. Then I would move that over. That's the only time I'm going to walk you through that way. When you're doing your con, it would be an efficient way to do that. You may also do the way that I'm going to show you here. If you don't like this, see, some people will catch on to it very quickly. If you don't catch on to it very quickly, that's fine, because I'm giving you this method. So if you have a problem like this or a problem like this, and you want to clear the number in front first, you would do that using division. And then you can bring down what's in the parentheses, pretending that it's our circle.
Okay.
So that's I'm only talking about that one time. Now let's go through this method. All right? So let's do number 1, excuse me. Right away I want to distribute, right? Boom. And I get 4 times what?
M.
Good. Plus 4 times 3. And that's going to equal 24. Now I did forget to draw my wall. I'm so sorry. So sorry, I should have drawn my wall first. And now we need to combine like terms, right? So I did the distributive property, I need to combine, so I need to finish multiplying, right? So 4 times m is 4m Positive 4 times 3 is positive 12, and then I've got 24. Now, what does this equation look like? Have we seen something like that before? Yes, we have. So what should I do now? Thank you. Circle the variable and its coefficient. And now what am I going to do? I need to undo addition and subtraction. Now I'm on to step 3. So I have plus 12, circle plus 12, so I need to do circle minus 12, minus 12. Please do the canceling step. And what's left that's not canceled on the left side? 4m. And then on the right side, 24 minus 12 is 12. Okay. Now I need to undo multiplication and division. So the 4 times m, what do I need to do? What inverse operation is that? Okay. I was making eye contact with Landon. Good, I need to do divided by 4. Cancel that stuff out. And what's not canceled out on the left? M. And then on the right side, 12 divided by 4 is 3. Now at this point, I want you in your head to plug this in for m. So the last way to think about this is we can do mental math for this. What do the parentheses need to be so that 4 times this will equal 24? 4 times what gives me 24? 4 times 6, which means the parentheses need to equal 6. So 3 plus 3 is 6. So does that make sense?
Yes.
Does our answer work?
Yes.
Absolutely. In fact, I bet we could have figured this one out in our head if we had thought about it that way. What does this thing need to be? 6. Because 4 times 6 is 24. So what would m have to be? 3. This one, I bet we're going to have trouble figuring out right away. 8 times what gives me 40? 5. So I need the parentheses to equal 5. So what will this need to be in order to add 9 to it to get 5? Need to be negative 4. So we know the answer in advance now. You see how we could think through that?
Yes, sir.
Now we need to actually do the work. We need to distribute first. Oops, wrong color. Notice that 8 needs to be distributed to the y and to the positive 9. So distributive property would be 8 times what? Y. And then plus 8 times 9. Build my wall here. Bring down my 40. Let's finish simplifying. 8 times y is 8y. 8 times 9 is, what is it? Good call, 72. Equals 40. The outlook looks good though, right? I'm going to be subtracting a bigger number from the little number, so I'm going to get into the negatives, aren't I? Don't I need a negative answer?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so that outlook is looking good for us. If we think ahead, we're going to be subtracting a bigger number from a smaller number to get a negative. Circle that variable. Circle plus 72. Inverse of circle plus 72 is? Circle minus 72. Minus 72 from both sides. Please cancel that stuff out. And what's not crossed off is the circled stuff. That's 8y. Now, 40 minus 72, I've harped on this. Please do not treat this as column subtraction. It's not. Why? Ashley?
Because 72 is bigger than 40.
Exactly, and we always have to subtract big minus little. We can do this in our head, that's fine, or if you need to do it on the side, do it on the side, not here. I, of course, don't have room because I'm going to do this in my head. 72 minus 40, well, what's 70 minus 40? 30, so 72 minus 40 would be 32, but it's got to be negative because we have to finish our wrap, right? Same side add, different side subtract, and keep the sign of the bigger one so we can be exact.
What?
Good. We got to make sure we finish that wrap. That was our biggest issue before. Now, the inverse operation of y times 8 is divided by 8. Hey, this is looking good for us. Right, we planned ahead. We thought this is going to be negative 4, and it turns out it is. Cool, yeah? Questions on these two before you do number 3 with your partner? Okay. Do number 3 with your partner. Ready, set, go. Try to figure out what you think it's going to be before you do the work. Try to figure out what you think it's going to be. Now that works with ones that are pretty easy like this, but not ones that have a bunch of decimals and stuff. Probably won't be able to do that. Try to think ahead. See what you can see if you can figure out what the answers should be. Figure out what the answer probably should be. It's 2 times what gives us 34?
Very cool.
2 times what gives you? What is it? 17. So we know that this is going to have to be 17. So what do you think x is going to be? Should be 7. So now let's do the work and see if we can make sure that it is.
Alright, we're gonna do this number 2, right? That's the task.
The answer to your question is when you do the distributive property.
We will catch you up. Yeah, it probably is, because you were missing a folder. So go follow.
Negative and opposite. Negative and opposite.
Isolate variable. Oh, that's, we're going
Thanks,
to
Brenda.
distribute. Now, what do you think about this?
Look up once you and your partner have an answer.
Corner if you want. Got a test here today.
Now, did you and your partner talk about what the answer quote unquote should be before you started working it through? Those are things we want to try to figure out. If we can think about what the answer should be before we do the work, we'll know if our answer is right or not.
Are we going to move on to number 4?
We're going to together. We'll do number 4 together, and then you guys will work on 5 and 6 with each other. All right, bring it back in. Questions on this one? Notice, please do the distributive property,
Yes, multi-step.
then combine your like terms. Now you've got a 2-step equation, right? Undo addition and subtraction, then undo multiplication and division. Now we should have said at the beginning, 2 times what gives me 34, right? That's what our thought process would have been. 2 times something gives me 34. That something should have been 17, right? 2 times 17 gives me 34. So in order for the parentheses to equal 17, x would have had to be 7. Hey, ladies and gentlemen on the side, can you guys be whispering? Thanks, Aiden. All right. So that's kind of how we want to check our answer. And now we want to check it, double check. Plug the 7 back in. 7 plus 10 is?
7 plus 10, 4, 17.
7 plus 10 is? Times 2 gives me 34. Yep, good. We always want to check our answer, especially when we're solving equations. Now, when we distribute the negative, the only thing we have to be really careful with, right, distribute first, combine like terms, when we distribute that negative, is that we have to change the signs. What happens when we multiply anything by a negative? The sign changes. It doesn't become negative. What does it do? It changes the sign, right? Now, if it was positive before, what would it do? It would become negative. What if it was negative before? It would become positive. When you multiply by a negative, it doesn't make it negative. It changes the sign. Okay? So when we do number 4 together, we distribute the entire negative 3. Bop.
Oh, because it's the
Bop.
beginning.
But it's up, right?
Yeah, so circle the variable.
I don't remember what it is. I haven't watched it in a while.
And then
And so I get negative 3a.
undo addition, subtraction.
And what's negative 3 times positive 2?
Negative 6.
Notice how both things change signs, right? This was positive, now it's negative. This was positive, now it's negative. And then equals 21. Put on my wall. Circle the variable and its coefficient. Now this says circle minus 6. What do I need to do to both sides? Plus 6. Cancel that. Negative 3a equals, what's 21 plus 6?
27.
7. Now I need to get the a by itself. What's happening to a right now? It's being multiplied by -3. So the inverse of being multiplied by -3 is divided by. Good. Did you notice you guys said -3? We don't change the signs, right? Pop. So a equals -9. I want you guys to try number 5 and number 6 with your partners. Okay? Try number 5 and number 6. Keeping in mind that when you multiply by the negative, it changes the sign of the numbers that are in the parentheses. It changes the signs. Double check. Good. Good. Double check that your signs are different. Hey, as you're doing these, I want you checking to see if you can figure out the answer in your head before you do the work. Cool? So talk through it. Guys, try to figure out if you can figure out what the answer is in your head before you do the work. Now, number 5 is a little bit tougher to think through. But we know that the parentheses would have to equal -5, right? Positive 5. Positive 5. Positive 5. -3 to -6 uses -6. Good. If you want to do the distributive step, it might be a good idea. So the distributive step would be -3 times -1. I would do that. Then if you wanted to do that, remember that distributive step. Ladies and gentlemen, in a conversation with a couple people, I've noticed that we're multiplying incorrectly. So it might be a good idea to do the distributive step, -3 parentheses, -3 parentheses, equals -15. It might be helpful to put that in, so that way you can do your multiplication. It might be helpful to do that distributive step we've done before. Okay, so what happens? It should be simplified. So then, this parentheses needs to be positive 5, right? 2 times what? Plus 6 gives me 5. 1 plus, or -1 plus 6 will give me 5. So how do I get 2 to become -1? Multiply that. So that's the mental number. So the parentheses need to equal positive 5. So what at plus 6 is the positive 5? This space is all right, put the answer up to number 5. This is 1.5. It should be -1.
Oh, that's what I do.
2 steps. Same 2-step equation that I did. -6 minus 18 equals -15. -15 plus 18 should be positive 3. Because it's same sign positive. Right? Same sign add, different signs subtract. Go ahead and skip to the last. Go ahead and skip to number 7, please. I know that you're not going to get to number 6. The key thing on number 6, though, ladies and gentlemen, the key thing on number 6, positive m, -3. They change the signs to negative and positive. Yes, they change the signs. Okay? I do want to get to here. I think that these, so skip to number 7, please. We need to collect like terms, so we distribute first. Is there distribution on number 7?
No.
Nope. Can we combine like terms? Yes, when we combine like terms, we use our shape method, right? So there's a 3a and a positive 2a. We need to combine those like terms and get 5a.
Because we're on number 7. Number 7, so we have 2, 3.
Now this is a pretty easy problem. It's a one-stepper, right?
That's the first thing. We don't need to distribute.
Notice.
We need to combine like terms.
Now all we have to do is get a by itself. What's happening to a right now?
You need multiply.
By 5, so what do we need to do? Divide by 5.
They're both A of, so they can both wear a box, right?
And we get our final answer of
Because if they were different, you'd
a
have.
equals not 4, negative 4.
So now I took 3A plus 2A, gives me what? 5A.
Now on number 8, we need to use the shape method, right? So 5x, negative 3x, positive 8 gets its own shape. And now, what we gotta do is just write down what we have. 5x and negative 3x gives me 2x plus 8 equals negative 22. Right.
Okay, so if I bet this one.
Now, all we have to do is check to see what kind of equation is this. It's a two-step equation, so we need to circle the variable and its coefficient. I'm just going to blast through the rest of this problem. Negative 8, negative 8. Boom. Bring the 2x down. Negative 22 and negative 8 is same sign. Add, and I get negative 30. Guys over there, we really need to whisper. You're getting too loud. Divided by 2x. So I need to divide by 2 because I'm being multiplied by 2x. So finally, x is going to equal negative 15. You guys do number 9 on your own. Remember, we only put boxes around the things that are like terms. Like terms have the same variable. There we go. When you're ready to look up, look up. Only when you're ready, though. All right, so notice, combine my like terms, bring that down. Over on the right side of the equation, I'm doing all my combining. So I do my wrap, then I do my sum. So, same sign, add. Keep the sign of the bigger one so you can be exact. Same sign, positive. Right? So the idea is making sure that we keep track of our signs. So all we've done is we've done what we did before, combining like term stuff, and threw it into this, right? Okay. Why? Well, why is it? Because negative 50 is divided by negative 5, same sign, positive.